Hey, yeah, what's up? This is Cyber Marshall Occurrence Rain back up in this anti-Illuminati all day. This is gonna be updates on what's going on with the cops sexually abusing children. This is gonna be more updates. More. I thought to go ahead and do more cases and everything, and give you some fresh cases about cops uh, sexually abusing children. Okay, first we're gonna start with Officer Clifford Horn. Officer Clifford Horn. Okay, this is in the Atlantic City area where he was arrested at. Okay, this happened July 25th, 2021. So this year, Officer Clifford Horn. Okay, and this is the actual report from it. Basically the paper talking about it, the equivalent of that. All right. So it reads: Atlantic City police confirmed Horn's arrest Sunday, saying in a statement he was among four men charged with luring and enticing a child by various means following assistance from the public. Officer Clifford allegedly went on to Grindr, the internet website, to set up a sex act with someone he thought was a 15-year-old boy, sending a photo of himself in his underwear. So Officer Clifford is sent a picture to a 14-year-old boy he thought he found on Grindr, and that's how they got him. So this is an officer of the law, real badge, real officer police, serving the public, busted, trying to show a picture to a 14-year-old boy of him in his underwear. See what I'm saying? This is what I'm trying to show you. And this happened, July 25th, 2021? So what's that? 8, 9, 10, 11. That's 4 months ago. Just now 4 months ago. Not even shy of 4 months. Okay? That's what I'm telling you. Okay, the next one is Sergeant. So if you want to check into the story deeper, his name is Officer Clifford Horn. Horn, like a car horn. Horn. Officer Clifford Horn. Okay, and the story comes out of the Atlantic City area. Okay, so the next officer playing around children is Sergeant Edward Giles. Sergeant Edward Giles. This guy was a youth football director of the East Orange Police Athletic League and was on the force for 30 years. On the first force for 30 years now, serving your country, serving America for 40 years. 30 years. 3 decades of service. And he decides he want to play around children. So here's the report. It reads, after a 7-month investigation, Giles was arrested in October 2019 on charges including aggravated sexual assault, endangering the welfare of a child, sexual offenses against a child victim, and criminal sexual assault. Officials at the time, the news reported, so November 16th, this month, just 3 days ago, they updated the case to 2 more victims. So this recently came out three days ago. Although the case started, he was arrested in October 2019. They updated it 3 days ago because they found more victims. Okay, and again, that's Sergeant Edward Giles. Sergeant Edward Giles. Okay, the next officer It's going to be Keith Hare. Keith Hare. Okay, he's coming out of the East St. Louis area. Okay, here's information on him. A former East St. Louis police officer, here's the report, has been found guilty of sexually assaulting a 6-year-old child in Alto Park 2 years ago. So this happened 2019 as well. Okay, the assault happened November 16th, 2019. So it's just now 2 years ago. 3 days ago, it was 2 years, exactly 2 years. So it's just now over the 2-year mark. The assault happened November 16th, 2019. Madison County Court. Keith Hare, 52, of Cool Valley, Missouri, was convicted of 2 counts of predatory criminal sexual assault of a child. And his conviction was reported 2 days ago. Okay, so again, this is Keith Hare. Okay, he was in Madison County Court. That's where he went. And he's of Cool Valley, Missouri, and he was convicted of 2 counts of predatory criminal sexual assault of a child. Okay? Like I said, his conviction was reported 2 days ago. Not 2 light years ago, y'all. 2 days ago. So these for all you people, all you vigilantes, all you people, I'm giving you your work. I'm showing you what you should be protesting about. Because when these cops are in the paper, you need to be out here protesting. You need to be out there where the precinct was, making sure where he was employed at, whatever precinct these cops was employed at. You need to be out there making your voice heard to the community and to the city halls in your cities, so that these people get the maximum amount of sentencing. This is what you're protesting. This is part of the reason you should protest. Okay? Although they have been arrested, don't stop protesting. Don't say, good, we got him. No, don't you stop there, because he's a cop. He might not get all he may not get the full extent that he should. The full extent of the law might not be ushered to him, might not be extended to him. The full extent of the law may not be extended to him. So you need to go protest downtown, City Hall, in front of the precinct, wherever this person was at. Let the news people see you, let the people see you, let the public see you. You know what I'm saying? So that these guys get the full charge that they deserve, not the minimum, the maximum. Okay? Okay, so here's another one too. Now, this is coming back up here in New York. All right? This is a guy named Michael Castro. He's 24 years old. He was on this division of the New York Homeless Services. He was New York Homeless Services New York Homeless Service cop. Okay, Michael Castro. Now he was busted for texting a 14-year-old girl, trying to have sex with a 14-year-old girl, and he's supposed to be working for the police for homeless people. And he's sitting up there seeing the harshness of life. This dude is still sitting up here thinking about a 14-year-old girl. That's what I'm telling you. You see what I'm saying? I'm telling you, man. I'm reporting these things so that you know that these things are going on right now. Not no cases, no cold cases from the 80s. Not no cold cases from the 90s. Not no cold cases from the 60s. Because that's how y'all think. Y'all be watching all this stuff on TV. And when I talk like this, you thinking about this is a cold case from the 60s. You know what I mean? These things have been happening recently over the 2019, 2015, 16. This has been happening recently. Let's just look at the Ferguson era, what happened in Ferguson as a new era, okay? Since the Ferguson era, because you know all the police shootings happened during that time. I mean, it never stopped. So it's been happening since that time up until the present time. So it's, some people may call it a Ferguson era, And during all that, since all of that's been going on for the past 7 years, these cops have also been doing things to these children while y'all was distracted. Yeah. Cops. And these are the people, I can't stress this enough. These are the people you trust your children to. These are the people you trust the most. Yeah, all you moms out there. Yeah, this is who you trust the most. Yeah, I trust Officer Thompson. Officer Thompson. He can bring Jenny home any night. You don't know what he doing in that car with Jenny. You trust Officer Thompson more than you trust me. You trust Officer Thompson more than you trust Bobo down the street. You think Bobo is more willing to protect Jenny than Officer Thompson. Bobo is going to do more protecting like a big brother than Officer Thompson. Let's just say Bobo is 20 years old. Let's just say Jenny is 12 years old. So Bobo's 20, she's 12, okay? And he's going to be more of a protection than Officer Thompson, who is, let's say, 52. Let's just say he's 52. These days, you can't trust Officer Thompson no more. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You know what I'm saying? You looking at me strange and everything, and I'm showing you right here. I'm showing you right here where officers are doing things to your children. Yeah, you need to wake up. Snap up, wake up. It's not back in the day in the 80s and the 90s where children interacted with the police and the police used to play basketball with them and they knew the kids in the neighborhood. That time is gone. They shooting the kids in the neighborhood now. You know what I'm saying? And God wants you to know. God wants you to be aware. Do you think God want to hold this information from you? And do you think God wants you to be silent concerning this information? You don't think God wants you to update your community to be updated with the state of the police? You think God want to keep that a secret so they can have a false image of integrity that is not real? You know what I'm saying? And they're doing all these things in secret. See, here's the thing. If the law system, if the justice system was better, and I can't stress this enough, if the justice system was better and had more severe charges concerning this sexual abuse and things with children, if the charges were more severe, you wouldn't have cops doing that. Cops know the law. These are cops. They know the law. They know a little bit. They know enough. And especially the ones that served long enough. They've handed out the charges. In fact, some of these same guys that did things to children have probably handed out sexual abuse charges to people, arrested people guilty of sexual abuse. Yeah. And they know that the law is not going to really punish them, especially if they're a cop. And don't let them be a Freemason cop. Who knows how they'll get off? Who knows if they're a Freemason and a cop? Yeah, cops are Freemasons. For some of you guys, people that don't know. Yeah. And you're willing to witch hunt someone that's on the streets who you think is guilty of this, then the police, I'm showing you right here, these people that did it, not, we don't know, and not, let's figure it out. They did it. And y'all are not responding. You're not responding. So you know what God is going to do? He's going to call you bluff. He's going to call you bluff. Because you know why? Because you're sitting up letting the real crooks get away. So you're not really about that life. So now you in a jam. Nah, you can't play the game and not be about the game, man. Nah. Bruh, you got to pay. You know what I'm saying? You sitting around playing the game like you protect children, and I'm showing you what happens. I'm showing you what's really going on, and you're not about the work. That's going to cause a severe judgment to fall on you, because you fall in the category of almost hypocrisy. Because you're sitting up saying one thing about you protecting children, but when it comes to real sex predators, you're doing another thing. You're not protesting. You're not doing anything. That is a kind of a form of hypocrisy, because you're saying one thing and doing another. You're saying you're about protecting children and you're not doing it. It's right there. The information is right there. I don't have a special phone. I don't have the special connection to the internet. I don't have a secret connection and some secret kind of military connection to the phone. You know, I don't have a special Google search. Okay? You can find out the same information, because these are the people that you trust. These are the people that's supposed to be protecting you. That will always be worse in every situation. That will always be worse than everyday people. These people have studied things for children they went and did classes. You don't know, you think about the police now. They done went and did classes. You know how it is when you got a job like something where you got a big job. You're gonna go through some classes. You're gonna sit down to some computers. You ain't just jumping in a suit, buddy. So they went through all this stuff of protecting children, understanding when children are in danger, all this kind of thing, all these classes they had to go through dealing with children and information about children. Not like me and you. Seeing horrific crimes, seeing children die. Cops got to see all of that. They go over all of that. Children, they got to see children just left out in the cold, found OD'd on drugs. Everything you could imagine that could happen to children, cops are usually the first ones there. This man was one of those cops was on the force for 30 years. You know he's seen all kind of horrific stuff with children, and he turns around and abuses one. This is somebody who knows better. I'm doing fries. This is somebody who knows better. This is somebody who literally have been taught better and taught to find predators, right? And then turn around and actually, how can you learn all of that stuff that me and you don't learn? Stuff that me and you don't know nothing about, as far as protecting children and all that. And then all the disgusting things that they have seen and heard, all the horrific crimes. They gotta go through, they gotta cancel all of that in their minds, right? Imagine working a job where you see all kind of horrific things happening to children, right? Imagine that. How that even plays on the psyche. Now this person knows all of that, seen all of that, all this horrific stuff on their minds, right? They go past they have to cancel all of that and ignore all of the horrific things they seen done to children, and then turn around and abuse children. This ain't no everyday person. This is what I'm trying to get you to understand. These people, these police have to take classes concerning children, sexual abuse victims, knowing when children are in trouble, spotting children, wayward children, what to do if it's a missing Amber Alert. They have to go through so many classes, and then they turn around and mess with your children. That's worse. That will always be worse. They sitting up there watching all this go on and happen, and they got the mind to turn around and play with children? Bruh, that ain't nothing comparable to that. Ain't nothing comparable to a man that could, or a woman that could do that. I'm sorry. Ain't nothing worse than that. Because they sit up there and had education on it and see kids being hurt and harmed. That does something to the soul. That makes you an avenger for children. That makes you a protector of children automatically, just from the stuff that you've seen. Just from the stuff that you've heard, the horrific crimes that you've heard while working your job. Not while you listening to your buddy talk about his job, while you're working your job in America. You should have a better heart towards children than the average person. So how do you turn around from doing that to straight up sexually abusing children? Now you telling me that's a devil. That's a devil. You can sit up on a job and drive in a cop car for 30 years. And just decide, and within the time of those years and decades, you decide to become a predator on the very thing you're supposed to be protected. Nah, that's a devil right there. Straight up. It's one thing to do things as children. That's one thing. You know, it's another thing to be a grown man that signs up, or a grown woman that signs up to be a protector of children and take all these classes on children, go through all that teaching and learning, and then go out here and do something evil like that. It's no excuse, man. You don't want to accept it, America. You don't want to accept it. But what I'm trying to tell you, man, is the police institution in itself in America is coming to an end. It is. Because it's no longer, it lost its credibility. You want to talk about something lost its credibility? Cops in America. That's who's lost their credibility. More than anybody. All this stuff that's been going on in the past 7 years since Ferguson? You can't be serious. Who has lost credibility more than anybody? More than politicians, more than anybody in the past 7 years. It has been the police. The police has lost credibility with the community more than anybody else. And you ain't updated on it yet. You still stupid. You still acting like we're in the 80s with police from the 80s that love to play basketball with children. That's where your head's stuck. You got stuck there for whatever reason. You need to be updated. And that's why I'm updating. Because these cops out here are doing stuff to these kids, get all this teaching and learning and information. That's why cops back in the day, they got all the information. They started wanting to help the kids, interact with the kids, play basketball with the kids. That day is gone, man. They shooting kids now. You know what I'm saying? You need to be updated in your mind and realize, you can say, well, all cops aren't bad, but what you gonna do? You gonna look at the majority of the situation, or you gonna look at the sprinkles on the cake? You gonna look at the sprinkles on the cake, or you gonna look at the cake? Which one you wanna do? Because obviously there are good cops. There's good everything in the world. Almost. Okay? So that's kind of simple-minded mentality. Where there are some good cops. Obviously there are. We all know that. It should be. But we look at the average every monthly basis of what they get caught up in lately. That's what you look at. You look at what these cops have been getting caught up in lately. That's what you go by. You don't go by the sprinkles on the cake. You go by the full cake. The full big slab of cake of what really is going on. Not looking at the colorful sprinkles on the cake. Not doing that. You know what I'm saying? Not doing that. You're looking at the overall bulk of the situation, and cops have been shooting and killing and doing all kind of crazy stuff, and you still stuck in the 80s thinking they the cops that play with children and push children on the swings and play basketball with the children. But you're looking at the sprinkles, the history, the good cops. But the cake, if you will, the chocolate, the big chocolate cake, let's get away from this colorful sprinkles. Let's get away from the colorful sprinkles. Look at the overall cake of what cops is doing. People that have been learned and trained to protect your children. Look what they're doing. No, it takes a real devil to do that. That's not saying, oh, this person is human. You have been trained like a military person to protect children. You go past all your training and abuse them, and it's not just a few. You know, some cops want to say, oh, it's a few bad apples. No, buddy, not all this stuff going on. That's a big bucket of apples. I'm sorry. That's a bucket, buddy. That's a bucket. You got all these shooting and killings and all that around here. There ain't a few bad apples. Nah. And you know what the saying says, a few apples spoil the bunch anyway. A few apples spoiled the bunch anyway. Okay, your credibility is gone from a few bad apples if you want to look at it like that. If you want to talk about bad apples. But it's more than a few, and you can no longer hide it, and we need to be done with this institution. I don't know what's going to happen next, but they have no credibility. You can't trust your kids in the hands of cops when all of this is going on and they're abusing cops. And you can't look at, it's a couple cops are good, because you don't know if you're going to run into a bad one.